Now, since you know where to buy websites, you know what to buy, you know how to do your due diligence, but before you go away and buy a site, you should really know how to negotiate and structure a deal that's actually going to work really well for you. And by the end of this lesson, you're going to know how to structure a deal to minimize your risk and also negotiate when buying a website business as well. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button, also hit the bell notification so you can get updated when I upload new videos every single week. So before we get into negotiating, we need to understand the different structures and the different ways you can purchase a deal. So the first structure that I want to talk about is what is preferred by many sellers and almost all website brokers, is paying all in cash for a website. The reason people are paying a lot of money in cash is because we have a lot of big micro private equity firms and a lot of big institutional money coming in that have cash sitting in their bank accounts and they're ready to buy these businesses within seconds. Like there are businesses that sell, in between the $50,000 to $70,000, even sometimes $100,000 price range within seconds and within hours. It's absolutely crazy. A lot of the businesses that are purchased under the $20,000 to $100,000 and even $150,000 range is majority with cash. Now, I suggest not to go down that route if you can prevent doing so. So cash is the main structure that's really preferred in our space. The next one is using cash, but also minimizes your risk. It's called an earnout. Now, what an earnout is where you can pay a percentage of the business up front and you can pay off the rest of the business in installments. Usually in our space, the earnout is heavily leveraged towards the seller where you will need to pay a high percentage of deposit. I'm not talking 10, 20, 30, 40% here. Usually you need to be paying 50 to 80% upfront for a business and the rest in installments. So let me give you a bit of an example of how this could work. So say you have a business and it's $100,000. Okay, they're asking for $100,000. You've worked out that it's worth $100,000 after doing your due diligence. You've done all your checks and you can see what risks are involved and you can see if you can minimize or remove them as well. And you value this business at $100,000. You go, okay, cool. I will pay $100,000 for this business, but I want to do an earnout. Can we do an earnout? And if they say yes, then you can structure an earnout and you can say, all right, I'll pay you 60% upfront now. Okay, usually it's 70 to 80%. Okay, so let's say it is 70%. You pay $70,000 for the business upfront, and then in the next 3 months, you may pay the next $10,000 off over 3-month installments. That is a structure that I like to use and I like to get a lot of my clients to use. Now, sometimes we don't have leverage to do that, right? If there's buyers that come up and they say, I've got $100,000 in cash or I've got $95,000 in cash, I'll give it to you right away, then we could be coming up against some competition. Now, I have some videos in the YouTube bank of mine, if you want to go check them out, on how to become an attractive buyer to be able to outbeat these competitors, even if they have great amounts of cash. There's some specific ways you can do this, but what I'm talking about here is the structures, okay? So I do prefer to do an earnout because it does reduce our risk in a way that we have the seller still tied to us for that 6-month or that 3-month period whilst we're transitioning the business, whilst we're learning the business and growing it. And we can really connect and build a great relationship within that time with the seller as well. Now that's very important. The network and the connections that you build throughout doing this process of buying a website are vital. And I almost say it's almost more valuable to have really, really good connections than just buying the business alone. Sometimes we structure these earnouts a little bit different, right? Sometimes the seller will go, yeah, cool, I'll do an earnout for 6 months. And they say, but each month I want, if you guys increase the price or you increase the monthly net profit of the business or the revenue of the business, instead of you paying me $70,000 up front and $5,000 over 6 months, if you achieve a certain amount, then, say you achieve X amount per month for the business, I want you to pay, instead of $5,000 a month, I want to pay you $6,000, right? Or $7,000 or whatever it is. And that's a good way for the seller to be invested in the business with you and still teaching you how to grow and run the business as well. So that's a win-win for both parties, where you as a buyer are happy to pay more because you're having somebody who previously owned the business teach you to grow and build the business. Plus, you're making more money from the business as well, and you're reclaiming your return on your investment back a lot quicker, whilst also rewarding the seller for helping you do so. So there's these different things, and that could be a specific amount, or it could be an interest amount paid out over time, right? You may want to do seller financing, which is the third structure. Okay, so we've got cash, we've got the earnout, and then we've got seller financing. Seller financing is where you do use the earnout structure, okay, but over the installments, say over 6 months, you may be paying 2 to 3 or whatever % interest on those installments that you're making, which means you're just using a seller as a bank. You're financing off them and paying them interest on those installments. Now, sometimes you can work out that you can pay a lesser amount, say $50,000 up front from the business and $50,000 as an earnout, and that may mean that the interest repayments are higher. Okay, so it really depends on the seller, also depends on the broker, also depends on the business. So there's these 3 different ways that you can use your cash and also use a bit of seller financing. Let's talk about complete financing from other institutions. You can go away and take equity out of your house and use that as cash to purchase a business, right? So that's using a particular type of finance. So you're, restructuring your mortgage. And then there's other ways that you can do this as well. In Australia and also in the UK, time of recording, there's not the most amount of options to use lenders, all right, finance brokers to help us buy online businesses. If you are in Australia or you are in UK, what I suggest you do is try to reach out to financial brokers and fintech lenders and all that sort of stuff to see what options there are available. I'm in discussions with different fintech lenders and different brokers to see how we can make this more mainstream in Australia. But in America, there are options. Okay, there are options, and the most prominent one is SBA. Okay, so this is a small business loan for US residents only to be able to purchase businesses or to be able to get some cash from the government to instill into their business to grow it as well. Now, I've had clients who've bought businesses using finance, SBA finance. Normally, you need to be buying businesses around the $500,000 range or more. And there's a few requirements you need to be able to be eligible for a SBA loan. I'm talking about you need to have some level of business experience. So they do some vetting on you as the purchaser. The business needs to be able to pass the vetting as well. And you also need to be able to see that you can pay the installments and the repayments as well. So there's some things you need to do to become eligible for an SBA loan. If you're wanting an SBA loan, please just reach out to me, contact me. I'm happy to help put you in front of the right person. Now, that's financing. Okay, I do wish there were more options, and there will be more options coming towards financing a business, but we'll move into that in another video when they become more available. Now let's talk about negotiation. Throughout a negotiation, what I mention to a lot of my clients is to never ever lowball and play games. There's 2 things. 1, don't just throw out a lowball offer. And 2, don't play games with the seller, right? Don't play games with the broker. These brokers don't have time. They're not going to want to play games with you, and that's not going to be good for your reputation. You're going to become an unattractive buyer by throwing out lowball offers and also playing games. So what I suggest you do really, really well is be great at your due diligence and know the business really, really well. Know it so well that you can understand its true worth. And when you understand its true worth, just go away and submit that offer. Okay, you may just put it down a little bit, but submit an offer that you feel is actually correct and valuable for the business, right? Just submit one offer and stick with it. If that's what you feel the business is worth, then just go for that. Now, if you're trying to play games and you're trying to, get the lowest possible price, then when it comes to purchasing through another seller or the same broker, you're not going to have the best reputation. Next time you're looking at a business for sale through that same broker, you're going to put an offer in and they're just not even going to look at it. They're not even going to speak to you because there's other people that are more serious, other people that have experience in due diligence, other people that understand the true value of a business, and they're not there to play games. We do have a lot of competitive buyers in our space now because this is becoming quite a popular method to make money online. As you can tell, you can buy an income stream. It's very, very valuable. So we don't want to be playing games. We don't want to ruin our reputation. First and foremost, let's be really good at doing due diligence so you can submit one offer and stick to it. I've done this with brokers and through off-market deals, and I've put in one offer and I've stuck to it and ended up executing on that one offer, even though the seller tried to play games with me to pay more. I just knew what the business was worth, so I stuck to it, and that can really work in your favor, right? Because they'll look at you and go, okay, this person really knows how valuable this business is. Another thing is, I don't want you to get caught up in emotions. Now, this is very, very, very serious business, right? Because about 90% of the people, and I was speaking to another investor in online businesses, he says 90% of people are investing in their first business with emotions, right? And what happens is when somebody else comes and outbids us for a business, we've got that picture, that vision of us owning that business and how much money we're going to be making or what that lifestyle of ours looks like. And we go, just a little bit more money, of course I can do that. And we end up getting emotional about it. And we could end up paying too much for the business, which could be not a very good deal. So please be as unattached to the business as possible and during the purchasing phase as well, because that's really, really important. A lot of people buy with emotions and a lot of people get caught out. This is why I find it critical to have somebody on your side who looks at businesses all of the time and understands what to look at and understands what they're worth and can help guide you in the right direction, right? Especially when emotions come in and you go like, oh, should I pay this or should I do this and should I do that? This other person is a great sounding board that has a lot of experience in the space, and you should have somebody like that on your team. Guys, that's it for the mini course, right? For more lessons, make sure you subscribe to the channel, right? And if you hadn't already, hit the bell button. If you haven't already as well, make sure you get my due diligence framework, because this is where people really do get caught out and make mistakes, is by not understanding how to do due diligence. So get that framework. It covers many questions. It takes the guesswork out of how to buy a website business. And that's it from me, guys. If you want to check out more about me and what I do, just check out all the links in the description. We have a podcast, we have the YouTube channel going, we have the website. If you have questions, please just reach out to me via email. It's Jaryd@buyingonlinebusinesses. I hope you got a bunch from this playlist, and I'll speak to you soon.